What's going on, lads and lasses? Welcome back to 100% Mag. So of course it's been a crazy time over the past couple of days for Newcastle United. Of course, more news on the channel to talk about the stuff that was broken last night at midnight. Of course, we're now on the 1st of July, so it's a brand new cycle for the PSR, a brand new 3-year cycle for the PSR. And looking at this, it's going to be an interesting run for Newcastle, because it looks like we are going to be very busy in this transfer window. I mean, last night we're seeing Elliot Anderson depart from Newcastle United. He's been here for a very long time, since he was a young kid coming through the ranks at Newcastle United. So that is a very sad one to see, you know, one of our own leave Newcastle United. And I wish, you know, Elliot Anderson all the best at Nottingham Forest. Hopefully it works out for the lad there, and he's took the sacrifice, you know, to go away from his boyhood club, and that is never easy, you know, to move away from a club that you love and have grew up loving. You know, like every Newcastle United fan out there, it's a hard thing to move away from Newcastle, and a hard thing, you know, to no longer play as well in Elliot Anderson's boots for your boyhood club, you know. So I can't imagine what he's going through right now, because obviously I haven't played, but as a fan I can imagine what he's going through, you know, moving away from the area. Obviously we'll still support with, but he just won't be living in Newcastle. So that's going to be something that, you know, as a 21-year-old lad, he's going to have to try and, you know, settle in now into a new environment, something that he hasn't been in before. So hopefully it does work out for him, you know, down at Nottingham Forest. And also we're seeing the confirmation as well of Yakuba Minte finally fully done last night as well. In pictures of him, of course, in his new Brighton kit, new Brighton training kit as well. We're also seeing reports as well of Vlachodimos, or Odi as he will be called on this channel, of course, coming from Nottingham Forest, which was meant to be a part of the Elliot Anderson deal, but it turns out it's actually a separate deal. Nottingham Forest buy Elliot Anderson off us for 35 million, then we buy Vlachodimos or Odi off of Nottingham Forest for a small fee. Now that fee hasn't been told, it hasn't been, you know, released. Keith Downey says that it is a very small fee for the player. He's only he's 30 years old as well, so, you know, obviously he's not going to be here for the long term. But we have seen, you know, that he's put out a message on Twitter last night, or X last night, and
hello, I'm Odysseus. I'm very happy to be joining Newcastle United. It's an honor for me to be part of that huge club with excellent players and coach. Can't wait to get started.
You know, welcomed and said hello to the fans, of course, on his move to Newcastle United, and how, you know, happy he is with the move to Newcastle as well. I mean, obviously he's happy. He's come from Nottingham Forest to join Newcastle United. You know, obviously he's going to be happy at that move. Then this morning we're seeing news come out of John Ruddy signing. Now, I did know about this one a couple of months back, and I never really said much about it on the channel, but I did see some news knocking around about John Ruddy joining Newcastle United, and I thought maybe it might have been just a, you know, fake bit of news. We're also seeing some news knocking around as well about Asmir Begovic joining Newcastle United as well. I think I've reported on that one on the channel. But John Ruddy obviously coming in. I don't know if he's going to get any game time, to be honest. I think he's more of just coming in to be a training goalkeeper. Somebody that, you know, will help the goalkeepers on the training ground on a daily basis. I think that's really all it is with John Ruddy. If he gets some game time, then obviously that's like a plus or a bonus for John Ruddy to get some game time at Newcastle. But he's coming in with a wealth of experience from the Premier League, obviously being at clubs like Norwich City, Everton as well, you know, so he's been around the league. He knows what to expect, and he does have a lot of experience to share with the players at Newcastle as well. So maybe we might still see a young goalkeeper coming in, the likes of Mamadou or James Trafford. Who knows at this time? We'll have to wait and see. Only time will tell on that one. But we did also see this morning as well the confirmation of Lewis Hall joining Newcastle United as well. That deal being, of course, the 28 million deal which sees him join Newcastle from Chelsea. That was part of the loan deal in his move from Chelsea on loan to us last season. So now that is confirmed. That's 28 million for Lewis Hall to Newcastle United. So now we have one outbound Geordie and one inbound Geordie coming into the club. So that is at least one Geordie out and one Geordie in. So the Geordie numbers are still pretty much around the same amount as what they were, bar obviously the fact of no Elliot Anderson. But nice to see Lewis Hall joining the club. Hopefully, he will get a little bit more game time than he did last season. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. There was also news as well about Dan Ashworth, or Dan Cashworth, as us Geordies like to call him. There was news about that as well this morning. And, of course, the final conclusion, the end of the Cashworth saga is finally over. Man United have crumbled at our demands. They have finally realised that it is legally binding. There is a 20 million release clause in his contract, and they have finally realised that they have no choice but to pay it if they want Dan Ashworth or Dan Cashworth. And of course, they have done that, and he will start immediately, according to reports from David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano this morning. And also now there is as well news going around. Don't know how legit it is, but there is news going around that Miggy is, of course, also being targeted with a move to Saudi Arabia for Al Ittihad. So we'll see how that one progresses going forward. But if that happens, then of course that would mean that that's a little bit more money again added to the coffers. So when you look at it, 68 million for Yankuba Minteh to Brighton. Elliot Anderson, Nottingham Forest, 35 million, of course. Then you've got the amount of money to come off of that for the Lewis Hall deal, which obviously will be spread over the period of the contract. But 28 million, there it is. So you've got to look at that. We're going to have probably well into the 300, maybe 400 million, I would guess, to spend, of course. But remember, there's the modernisation in there as well, so that means that that does spread it out a little bit longer as well, because then you can put players on bigger contracts as long as they're on that 5-year deal, and you can spread the fee out over that 5-year deal. Then of course that would allow for some more extra signings coming in. So do expect a lot of players, or at least a reasonable amount of players coming in this window, because I think we will be very, very busy in this transfer window. It's not over yet. We've still got plenty of time on this window, and I do believe Newcastle will be very, very active in this window as well. Let us know your thoughts anyway down in the comments below. Till next time, remember, hit like, share, subscribe to the channel. I know I've tried to cram as much as possible into this video, but hopefully you have liked it, and if you have, hit that big thumbs up to help support the channel moving forward. It's completely free, and it massively helps the channel to grow. And also, if you haven't done it yet, or if you're new around here, hit that big subscribe button as well, as I'm on the road to 2.5k subscribers and trying to go and build this channel up. But I can only do it with the support of you guys. Until next time, I'll see you all for the next one, and however lads.